Hey guys, this is Eric Connor from Nerdy Geek Talks. For all your nerdy geeky needs, here with a new episode of NGT Updates. Uh, I know that I said these are supposed to normally be short, but today, February 15th of 2019, has been the most announcement-packed day possibly definitely the entire time I've been in the fandom. So we have a lot to discuss. Side note, we're going to be talking about all the million Transformers announcements that were made today, breaking them down as quick as possible. But also really quick first, since this is just a Nerdy Geek Talk update, not just Transformers. Force Friday, I believe is what it's called, is the merchandise day before. A couple months usually before the new Star Wars movie will come out, and they have announced when the date of this year's will be before Episode 9, and that is October 4th, I believe, but it is a triple Force Friday in the fact that the merchandise for Episode 9 will be released on that day. Also, The Mandalorian and Disney Plus and also Jedi Fallen Order, the video game, coming from them as well. So a lot of Star Wars stuff to look forward to on October 4th. But the rest of the stuff we have to talk about is Transformers. So let's just get right into it. First thing that happened before all of the craziness, there's a little bit of space here before everything else dropped at once. Cyberverse Season 2 trailer debuted. It showed off the new armored up look at Optimus Prime and Megatron that we've seen in toys. We've also seen Skybite, Bumblebee, like other characters and such, but in the trailer specifically, we get to see the armored up versions of both Prime and Megatron from the Allspark. We also get Lockdown looking like animated in Cyberverse, and he is next to what is seemingly a female Lugnut from animated, but it is actually not Lugnut. One of the Transformers writers has responded to tweets saying that it's actually a new character and that they were heavily inspired by Lugnut, but basically there was some worry about using Lugnut in the show, so they decided to just make it a new character and that her name will be revealed when the series debuts. So there's that. So, yeah, and also Cheetor is the one that bestows the armored up abilities to Prime and Megatron with the as the guardian of the Allspark. Apparently, Cheetor looks very good and everything. I highly recommend you go watch this trailer. Cheetor himself actually wears his tail as his belt, which I think is kind of cool in robot mode. But yeah, so the trailer itself got me super excited. But anyways. Then, throughout the I think that was actually yesterday. Yeah, that was yesterday, the 14th, so Valentine's Day. But then the night of the 14th in the morning, early morning of the 15th, depending on what time zone you're in and such, there was actually some leaks. Though these were not leaks from people, but rather I believe Walmart put these up on accident for their listings in the Walmart inventory database. And there was first Studio Series toys. We got to see that Dark of the Moon Leader Class Optimus Prime is indeed the new Voyager Optimus Prime with his flight tech and guns and such armored up like that. But and we'll just talk about this now because the images came in a couple batches. We now also know that the flight tech combines with the weapons rack in the beginning scene of Dark of the Moon, the first fight, not the beginning scene. We get to actually, is it the? It's the first Transformers fight. Where he fights Shockwave, there's a giant circular weapons rack that Optimus walks through and picks up his weapons. That, with the weapons, is coming with the leader class figure, and that combines with the flight tech to make his trailer in vehicle mode, which is fantastic. We also get a repaint, and I say repaint because it doesn't even have a new head, so it's not a retool. Even though, new head with nothing else. It's normally considered a repaint, but this is straight up a repaint of Nitro Zeus as KSI Sentry Boss, which is basically slightly different grays of Nitro Zeus. It's not exactly screen accurate, but it's still a very good toy, so there's that. But again, not much color variation like there was with Thundercracker, not even a new head either, so kind of a bummer. What is not a bummer, though, is there's another Constructicon revealed. It is Deluxe Class Hightower. He's a crane. He is a very, very interesting robot mode where he has basically T-Rex arms and legs that go out to the side almost like an arm would, and then a giant, the crane is basically a giant third arm for him. So a lot of people are weirded out by him. I personally dig him, and hey, it's another step towards Devastator, so there's that. Um, Also, in Deluxe Class Studio Series, I believe this is our final one for Studio Series, and I had called this before whenever Drift was listed, that it would be a retool out of Dropkick, the helicopter mold. I was saying that, hoping it wasn't true because I thought it was going to be awful, but thinking that it was pretty likely because what else would they reuse that mold for? Since a Drift did turn into a helicopter in Age of Extinction. Now it turns out this is an amazing retool. It's a reuse of the mold indeed. You can see it from the legs mainly. Uh, Oh my gosh, though, he's amazing. He has actually, this is the first Age of Extinction Drift toy that's had articulation, really, that has screen accurate colors in terms of like being mostly black with blue highlights. His swords actually come off, and he has the two larger swords and the two smaller swords slash knives, whatever you want to call them. The two knives are stored on his back, and the two swords are in his arms. But in helicopter mode, which really it looks more dark black than it was in the movie, I believe. In the movie, it seemed like there was a bit more blue, but the shape itself is very accurate, and that is where he has. The blades are actually just the two short helicopter. The two short blades become blades for the helicopter, and the two long blades are the other set. So the propeller looks a little weird, but hey, you can make it a singular propeller if you want to. You don't have to put the swords there. I believe he also has missile launchers that go on the side of his legs that can go in the helicopter mode, but the helicopter mode itself really reminds me of Transformers Prime Arachnid for some reason. I just get a vibe from it. But anyways, moving on to Siege, we have Thundercracker. We're seeing now. Some pictures had him with just a Battle Master, and some people were no ray cannons on his arms. Some people were theorizing, oh, he comes with a Battle Master instead of the null rays. That's not true. There's been pictures now of him with the null rays, so he's going to come with the null rays. That picture of him with the Battle Master was probably for the Battle Master, actually not for Thundercracker. Just happened to be our first picture of Thundercracker. Deluxe Class Red Alert was also revealed, who is a Sideswipe repaint with new accessories. He doesn't have a new head, but he does have a gun. It's a different gun from Sideswipe. Sideswipe had the gun that basically made his shoulder cannon. This does not come with the shoulder cannon. It comes with his actual regular rifle, and then a light bar accessory, which you can take the light bar accessory, put it towards the end of the gun, and then he can hold the gun by the barrel, and it's basically a light bar club, which is weird, but hey, that's cool. So that's very interesting. And then also we finally get clear pictures of the official pictures of the leader class Cybertron Optimus Prime, which, hey, that looks good. We've never seen that before, have we? And we also are seeing pictures of Springer. Initially it was just his helicopter mode. Now we have his helicopter mode and his robot mode. We just don't have his car mode yet. It appears that he has two guns, as seen on the helicopter, and that he can also take the blades from the helicopter and have two swords, it appears. He's very, very G1 cartoon accurate in both modes we've seen so far, so it's safe to assume that the car mode will also be very G1 cartoon accurate. And it looks better than I expected, but I still don't know quite how I feel about it. But again, it's how we should really expect it to look like with the rest of this line. Very, very G1 cartoon accurate, so surprisingly. So with Springer even more in all the modes that we've seen so far than expected. Yeah, so now we talk about possible, before we get on to media, because there's plenty of more media news like the Cyberverse show, mainly because we're getting another show. But anyways, really quick before we dive into that, we have a rumor for what could possibly be seen at Toy Fair 2019, if it's true. That is War for Cybertron Siege Leader Class Astro Train. This could be the third leader class assortment, and while the listings we got before that laid out the numbers for the entire line of Siege indicated there would only be 3 leaders, those being Shockwave, Ultra Magnus, and Optimus Prime, the reason this could still be possible fitting into those is that there was a mystery. There was like 4 unknown characters. Well, I believe 3 were Autobots, 1 was Decepticon, something like that. That they didn't know where they went, so this could be a Decepticon that would be in the leader class spot. So this is very interesting. Very much looking forward to seeing tomorrow if this is true or not. If we even see it, it could still be true and we don't see it tomorrow. Who knows? It's very likely if it is true, we will see it though. So yeah, I'm very. That's probably my biggest anticipation for Toy Fair itself right now for Transformers is to see Astro Train if that's actually a legit rumor. But no, toys and all this stuff is not all we've had today. Also, if you aren't aware, Hasbro Toy Shop previously closed down. Now, HasbroPulse.com is up and running, and this is Hasbro brand's retail site, and it looks pretty nice in all honesty. It was a little bit. Things have been frantic there. They've been altering the site as it's literally been up. I've watched things change, items go up and down. Currently, if you're listening to today's recording, the deluxe class Wave 2, Ironhide, Prowl, Chromia, and 6-Gun are all up for pre-order. And a note about the site, you have to pay for the pre-orders whenever you pre-order. You don't pre-order whenever it comes in stock. They are in stock, they are up for pre-order for $20 each right now, but earlier when the site went up, they were up for actually $10 each, which is when I pre-ordered them, so I paid $40 and they'll supposedly be arriving in April. There's also Studio Series Wave 3, 5. I think it's 5 technically, but it's the current wave of leaders is what I'm trying to say. Jetfire and Megatron, also the current Voyagers and Deluxes, all of them. Also the Bumblebee pack with the mini Charlie figure and the customizable stickers and alternate parts for the vehicle mode is up there. There's a lot of stuff. But an interesting thing to note is that this stuff is actually all put to shame by the newest announcement that was on Hasbro Pulse, which is no longer there, I believe, that we are getting a crossover Ghostbusters figure. I believe it's called Ectotron. I could be wrong on that. Ectotron, I believe. And it turns into the Ghostbusters car, and it is indeed, it's actually a retooling, heavy retooling of the Combiner Wars Hotspot or Onslaught mold. Using very little tooling from that, mainly all new, and it looks really good, and it will be $40 according to the pre-orders. It's both on for pre-order on Hasbro Pulse, though I heard that it may have gone down, but it should probably be going back up soon. It's not supposed to come out for months anyways. And also GameStop will have it, so it's an exclusive between those two as of right now. Also of note, if you're interested in Hasbro Pulse, if you go and order any toy, you sign up for an account first before you order anything. Sign up for an account, then use that account and order a toy. There's free shipping until February 23rd. So you'll get your toy free shipping, all of that. Or you could probably pre-order because you have to pay for that right now, so that's how it'll work. If you do that, you will get free premium Hasbro Pulse account, Hasbro Pulse Premium. That will be your new account, which you'll have to pay later to join, sort of like Amazon Prime. You'll have to pay $50 a year, but if you do it before the 24th, you don't have to pay the $50 enrollment fee. You get it for free, and what it includes is free standard U.S. continental shipping for the rest of 2019, monthly premium only discounts and flash sales, and other perks throughout the year at select fan conventions and more. So basically, you get free shipping for an entire year for free if you buy something before the 23rd. or by the 23rd. So I highly recommend that. You only have a week from right now listening, basically, a little over a week. But I highly recommend that. You could buy tiny stuff. You could pre-order some of the Siege figures you want as well. They have Starscream, Soundwave, some of the Micromasters, stuff like that. They'll probably be adding more as Toy Fair goes for pre-orders as well. So highly recommend checking that out. Um, I already signed up for it because I pre-ordered those 4 deluxes. Assuming that counts. It says make a purchase, and I paid for those, even though they aren't arriving till April. So I'm assuming that counts. If not, we'll see. Um, but yes, so all of that. Now let's talk media. Two massive, massive things have been put out. We are now, so here's I'm going to read the official press release. We're getting a Netflix Transformers series for War for Cybertron. So Transformers War for Cybertron is coming to Netflix. Here is the official press release. Netflix and Hasbro have partnered with Rooster Teeth to bring War for Cybertron to Netflix for members around the world in an all-new original series to launch in 2020. And yes, you heard that correctly. Rooster Teeth is producing this. Complete with a new animation look and style that presents the Transformers like you've never seen them before. Rooster Teeth will produce the original series for Netflix, and Polygon Pictures will serve as the animation studio. Transformers veteran F.J. DeSanto, not sure, who wrote on Transformers Titans Return and Power of the Primes, the Machinima series, which doesn't sound great, but keep listening. Will serve as showrunner on the series with several contributing writers, including George Christick, Gavin Hignite, who's a writer on Transformers Cyberverse, which I can vouch for, and Brandon Easton, who was a writer on Agent Carter, which I haven't watched but I've heard is good, and Transformers Rescue Bots, which the little bit I've watched of it is actually fantastic. I really am actually liking that series a lot. I'm going to watch all of it now after watching just a few clips. So all of that talent, and especially the produced by Rooster Teeth, is what has my attention. Coming to Netflix in 2020, in this Transformers origin story, we will explore the expansive universe of Cybertron in a way that audiences have never seen before, to the delight of both existing fans and those coming to the franchise for the first time, said John Durdurian, I don't know, director of anime for Netflix. The Transformers brand is a global phenomenon, and we are thrilled to partner with Hasbro, Rooster Teeth, and Polygon to bring this exciting new series to our members around the world on Netflix. So yeah, there's a little bit more, but that's the gist of it. War for Cybertron is getting its own Netflix series in 2020. We have no idea when in 2020. Well, we know the writers, we know Rooster Teeth's producing. It's great. I do have a little bit of hesitation to flock to it, but at the same time, I'm pretty anticipating of it. So I have high hopes that I'm trying to keep in check. So I'm very, very excited still, nonetheless, despite trying to keep those hopes in check. But even bigger than that, to me at least, we're getting a new Transformers video game. Not only that, because we haven't had a Transformers video game really since Transformers Devastation, we haven't had a third-person shooter Transformers game since, I believe, Rise of the Dark Sparks, the last one. The one before that would be Fall of Cybertron, because Devastation wasn't a third-person shooter, it was more of a fighting game. Though it's made by my favorite game developer, Platinum Games, so I do like it. But, anyways, apparently it has been announced via GameDaily.biz. Hasbro Investor reports that a new Transformers game is currently under development, most likely for consoles and/or Steam. Developed by Certain Affinity, a company with a few full games under their belt, but solid bona fides for shooters that date back as far as Halo 2. That's exciting that they worked on Halo, because Halo's my favorite franchise video game franchise. The game, not my favorite franchise, Transformers has that. The game is expected to once again be a third-person series, as the High Moon Studios games were, with High Moon Studios themselves currently indisposed as permanent backup for Bungie on Destiny. Sadly, we don't expect them to return to the franchise. So we don't know much about this, but it sounds cool. Their license for doing Transformers games, Certain Affinity has had, is from the it covers the G1 period of 1984 to 95 in the modern generation setting. If so, this is going to be really, really cool. I'm I'm very curious if this will tie into the War for Cybertron trilogy, uh, the toy line, and now the show isn't necessarily trilogy, though it could get 3 seasons. Um, I'm curious if the game itself will also tie into that or not. I hesitate to think that because it's not High Moon Studios, so they probably wouldn't call it. Even it may tie into the universe, but or the aesthetic of it, but I wouldn't expect them to call it War for Cybertron, since we have a Transformers third uh, person shooter called War for Cybertron. So I kind of doubt that, but I'm very interested to hear more about this. It's very exciting. I've been really wanting a Transformers video game for a long time now, and I've been very disappointed about I mean, studios not working on anything recently. For Transformers recently, they've been working on stuff. So yeah, that is certainly a lot to think about, to break down, and we will be getting more, though I don't know how much more, tomorrow at New York Toy Fair. If you're listening to this on the 15th, whenever it goes out, thank you for staying tuned to your podcast feed. Look at you go. If you're not, if you're listening on Saturday, the 16th, February 16th, you still have time. The New York Toy Fair live stream on Radio Free Cybertron. I myself, Eric Conover, will be on it. Definitely swing over to hear us talk about all the reveals, all the good stuff. We'll be there from noon to 6 p.m., I believe is the current time slot, Eastern Time. So we'll be chatting about all of this and more. So definitely go check that out. Also, feel free to check out Nerdy Geek Talk on Twitter and at Steel City Bots on Twitter, where we'll be retweeting plenty of this news, everything that's breaking and all that and more. So definitely check out those accounts. We'll be retweeting plenty. So if you're following, you'll get to see all the good stuff. You can follow me at Eric Crowbar on Twitter. You can also check out other stuff I have going on. You can check my Twitter. I'll have links to everything there, a couple of YouTube things, all that. So thanks for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this news as much as I have. And I'll catch you on the next Nerdy Geek Talk update. Thanks. Bye.